Okay, so Brittany is my real life best friend. We lived together, we went to college together, we lived together in our late 20s, and she was undergoing this crucible of personal change while we were living together. It was that time of life where you figure out maybe you're not going in the direction you want to go, you want to go a different way, or how can you be better, how can you challenge yourself, you're sort of setting yourself up for the rest of your life. And she started running because she didn't know what change to make, and that was the easiest one to make, and it was 1 block and then 2 blocks, and I watched her go through this mental and physical transformation that was grueling and funny and sad and triumphant and brutal, and I just thought, that's a movie, that should be a movie, and it's an atypical hero. It's not the kind of Hollywood hero we're used to, and we should treat a character like that's usually the mess or the fat sidekick, with dignity and respect, and zoom in on them and who they are as a human, and let the audience go on their journey. So that was the impetus for this. The other question was whether or not she ran a marathon. Real Brittany ran a marathon. When we were filming at the actual New York City Marathon, and we had a steady cam in the race. We were the first non-doc to ever shoot in the New York City Marathon. We weren't going to take a steady cam 26.2 miles. So we had 3 units that day. We shot at multiple spots along the race and sort of pieced together this collage of the feeling of the actual monster of the marathon. The character loses 45 pounds over the course of the story. Jillian Bell, who's amazing, who plays Brittany, she's amazing. She took it upon herself to go through that actual weight loss journey before we were filming. She joined the film 7 months before we started filming, and she started running and changing her habits because she wanted to truly live this character's story. She lost the last 11 pounds while we were filming. We filmed over 28 days in New York. And so in order to mimic where she started her journey, we had 4 distinct looks that we followed throughout shooting, look 1 through look 4, that sort of were our tent poles of her physical transformation. We blended those together. But if you remember at the beginning of the film, right after she's at the theater, she's sitting on the couch, she's looking at Facebook on her phone for the first time. There's a photo of her, a profile photo of her, and then her on the couch. The profile photo of her is her from 8 months before we started filming, and her on the couch is her with a prosthetic and a bodysuit to match that image. The emotional arc of Brittany and my friend is my friend Brittany. It's just from feeling lost to taking control to I had started writing the script while she was training, and I wrote that she got injured and couldn't run the race, and then it happened in real life. So she was mad at me. But the rest of it is a work of fiction. There's no Seth, there's no Catherine. And that came over years of developing the script with Toby McGuire's company with Matthew Plouffe. We developed the script, I think, for 3 or 4 years. At one point, Seth was her roommate. There was no Catherine. There was a woman named Bess, who I've forgotten about until this moment. But it took 3 or 4 years, and then when you get into production, you just have to start making adjustments on the fly. So you're cutting whole scenes, whole storylines, and then in the edit, you do the same thing. So I only finished this. We shot the 2017 New York City Marathon in November, and I only finished this the Tuesday before I came here. So, a lot is your answer. The real Brittany has seen the movie. She came to the premiere. We cried a lot. Usually people ask what she's up to now, and the answer is my favorite answer, which is her job is too noble to have put in this movie, because you wouldn't believe it, because she currently works in genocide prevention, which is like a 180 from where we started. She was committing genocide when we started. She's still running, yeah, not marathons, but yes. Who else, anyone? Yeah. Sure? Am I Jared? No, I'm sort of Seth. So on Tuesday, we were acquired by Amazon. And so, my understanding is we'll be in theaters some point in August, and then we'll be on Amazon Prime.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta go to bed, I'll tell you that. That's what I was working on now. This took 7 years, and I started another screenplay, but I have got to go to bed. I mean, that's truly the truth of this. I'll let you know. Jaren's not real. That house sitting job is not real. She's married currently to a man named Jason. Jaren's original name, because I wrote it late at night, was Tiger. And when I met her current husband, Jason, he was wearing a t-shirt with a tiger on it, by chance, designed by someone named Jerem. So it was like this weird moment, but no, Jaren's not real. The score was tricky on this one because, you know, typically in film, you have this sort of theme that you repeat throughout, you do different variations of. But because her story was one of change and of sort of introspection and different feelings and different situations she was in, that felt wrong to us to just keep leaning onto the same hook. So there's this one little pulse that happens throughout. It first starts when she is going for her first run and she looks down at her shoes, which is just sort of a quarter note push. That's the only thing that really remains throughout. But the rest of it is a mix of soundtrack, our artists, our composer, you know, everything. Like a water glass, and my iPhone up against the water glass as I go like that in the studio. Just a whole bunch. Oh my God. He said, what was the most pleasant surprise and what was the most horrifying surprise while making the movie? It's probably the same answer, which is how much work it is. I mean, you were there 14 hours a day, and then you gotta get back on set the next morning, and you're doing this brutal, grueling work where you're asking people to be like very vulnerable and exposed and collaborative at the same time. You're asking them to bare their soul, but do it towards the camera. And that is a lot of work. But the good news is this was a labor of love for everybody involved, and so it wasn't, the attitude was really great. It was all teamwork. The actual marathon, only 8 of us were permitted to go, so we were all, like Jillian would like be running over the finish line, and we'd like cut, and she'd run and grab a camera bag and try to get to the next location. So it was really, it's the same thing, which is it's a lot of work, it's a lot of fun.
Will you run a marathon now?
I will not run a marathon now. I had like double ankle surgery in December, and I had to go to like the first Sundance event in like walking casts, and everyone thought I was like a stint, like a joke, like I was a stunt for the film. Who are my influences? I come from theater. I really liked, when I was younger, I really was gravitated towards David Mamet and Aaron Sorkin and sort of smart way dialogue. And now that I've been in this world a little bit, now it's like my mentors, the people that have invested in me and who I've developed personal relationships with, who have really nudged me towards going towards whatever my own voice is and away from imitation. And this is in that spirit. You know, well, I reject your premise, sir. The movie has no point of view on weight loss. The character has a point of view on weight loss. And it's what she starts to grapple with and deal with and come to terms with as the movie goes on. The movie does it without any shame, and it's telling the story of a girl. And we have not had pushback. This is our 5th or 6th screening. There's really been no pushback, I think, because what we're telling is a story about a woman who learns to fall in love with herself. And by the end, she realizes, she realizes, not the film realizes, she realizes that she set out to take responsibility for herself, and she maybe started obsessing over the wrong things, and she wants to get back on track. The original script dove more into the story of her mother leaving, but we didn't need it. There was like a soul cycle scene where she saw her mother in the mirror, and we were like, what are we doing? Just threw that out. But the story of this movie happens within Brittany's heart and soul, and we were capturing it. And the actress was telling the beats of that story so beautifully that we didn't need to do any more exposition. Question is, what's my relationship with Tobey Maguire and how did he get involved? So I had a play in New York in 2013. He came to the second preview. I was sitting in the back row, mortified because I didn't think it went well. And we had a meeting. He did think it went well. We had a meeting. We had another meeting. He said, "What do you want to do next? Just of anything." I said, "I want to write this movie about my best friend, I think." And he said, "Okay." And then he bought it off of that. Nuts. It was the first thing they ever bought. And then I developed the script for a while. A few years later, I asked if I could direct it. They said no. And then I sort of went in and stated my case. I tried to win them over, and it worked. And Toby and one other person invested the entire budget of the film into making this out of their own pockets. And so it was a really good fate. And it paid off. The movie, the concept of the movie is we take someone who is a sidekick and we make her the lead character, right? That's what we've done with Brittany. So with the rest of the characters, we want to do the same thing. We want to take people who are often made to be jokes and dimensionalize them and humanize them and make them have personal stories. So that's what you see with Rel and Michaela and Micah Stock. We found, and Utkarsh, we found these people who are naturally gifted comedians. Comedy comes from pain, and we wanted to sort of bring the pain a little bit to the surface. Like, is my friend Brittany funny? My friend Brittany is funny, but she did not write this. Sorry, say it one more time. Oh, you know, this is an interesting question. Mostly no. Because I'm a playwright, we mostly stuck to the script, like word for word. And that was, we sort of attacked this like it was a drama. There are some lines in there that are improv because we were just cracking up on set or throwing out ideas or they were just riffing off each other. But the majority of the story, the vast majority of what you saw is scripted. I don't know that I have a favorite scene in the movie. I love the sex scene. I think it's not for any of those reasons, but because it's so intimate and it's real, but it's celebratory, and it's also got a mix of relief and humor in it. I really like that one. Well, originally, the whole movie was going to be set in Philadelphia. The question is, why did Philadelphia play into it? But I wanted to give her somewhere to go away from the New York City Marathon. If we consider New York the dream that is escaping her in her story, and Philadelphia is a 2-hour bus ride, so just it made sense that she could get there real quick. Cool. All right. If you have any more questions, I'll be up here. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for coming.